what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another lesson. Today we're going to be talking about piecewise-defined functions. So before we actually get into the whole objective of the lesson, which is being able to graph up piecewise-defined functions, we're going to go over sort of the concept of this lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and read the problem. I suck at reading, so just kind of stay with me. Alani has a summer job as a lifeguard. She makes $8 an hour for up to 40 hours each week. If she works more than 40 hours, she makes 1.5 times her hourly pay, or $12 an hour for each hour over $40. So basically, if she works overtime, now she's going to get paid $12 per hour. All right. How could you make a graph and write a function that shows Alani's weekly earnings based on the number of hours she worked? All right, so it's asking us for two things. How can we make a graph, and how can we write a function, so an equation, a rule? All right, so let's go ahead and graph the function. I already created a table, as you can see on the left. Hours worked, which is 20 through 55, and the amount of pay she got for those hours. So I'm gonna create a graph or a visual representation using the table. Okay. So when she worked 20 hours a week, she got paid $160. So that is 20 hours, and this is the hours, and this is the pay. Okay. So for 20 hours, she got 160, which is right there. Okay. For 25 hours, she got $200, which is right there. For 30 hours, she got 240, which is somewhere right there. For 35, she got 280, which is somewhere right there. And for $40, or for 40 hours a week, she got 320, okay, which is somewhere right there. So if I were to create a visual representation, this would create a straight line. Okay, and that was a really horrible line. Okay, now what happens when she starts working overtime? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call this function f of x. Okay, just to kind of give it a name. Now what happens when she works overtime? Well, when she works 45 hours a week, she gets paid $380, which is somewhere over here. And as you can see already, it's, I don't know what happened. Oh, there you go. So for 45 hours, 380. And as you can tell already, it creates a change. For 50 hours, it's 440, which is somewhere right there. For 55 is 500, which is somewhere right there. So already, if I connect those two functions, you can tell that there's a change of the function. The slope actually changes, and I'm going to call this function g of x. So this is basically what a piecewise-defined function is. Pieces of functions that are different from in a way, but that actually connect to each other. Now, they don't always connect to each other, but the whole point of a piecewise function is that there are pieces of different functions. So basically, a piecewise is just pieces of functions. All right. Now, it's asking me to create or write a function or a rule. I'm going to create one for each of the functions. So to begin with, I'm going to do f of x. All right. The function for f of x, I know that it's a linear function, and it has a slope of 8 because she gets paid $8 an hour every time. So I know that f of x is going to equal 8x. And I'm going to use x just for the sake of it. Comma, there's a restriction, because that function only exists from a certain interval. In which interval is that one? Well, that's from 0 to 40. So my function is going to look, or my restriction is going to look like this, from 0 to 40. So I'm gonna get paid $8 an hour as long as I work between 0 and 40 hours, or exactly 0 or 40 hours. Okay. Now for g of x, it's gonna be a little bit different, right? So first of all, I need to subtract the money that I made between 40 hours, which is 320, right? So that's already the money that I made when I worked 40 hours, plus now I'm gonna be getting paid $12 per every hour that is above 40, okay? And that's where that 40 comes from. So that's my function. Now my restriction is going to be, I'm gonna be making that amount of money when I go above 40 hours. So my restriction is going to be x is greater than 40. And notice how I didn't use greater than or equal to, because when it's equal to 40, you're still making $8 an hour. It's not until you make more than 40 that you start making more money. Okay, so that is a piecewise function. On the next lesson, we're gonna go over how to graph it.